North Carolina, American Sign Language is not offered as a foreign language credit. I think what Elon, a lot of the students come from all over the country, and they may have had different experiences in their high schools or universities in their state that offered this, and they loved it and wanted it there. So to their credit, they went to administrators and made this happen.
I was looking at the pamphlet, the handbook for spring classes, and one of them was ASL. And I was like, oh, there's a sign language class. And there was a girl beside me, and she was like, yeah, I took that. And I was like, oh, do you learn sign language? I was like, yeah, obviously. I thought that was so cool that I signed up for it as soon as I could.
She just immediately caught my attention, just her energy and her passion for this culture. And she was very raw in her emotions, which was really cool because I feel like we don't see that a lot in the university setting. And so I thought that she was immediately a really awesome teacher.
I was contacted by Elon and they said, we want to start, our students have asked, I mean it was the students that started it, the students have asked for us to set up an American Sign Language class here. So they hired me for the job. There are no other ASL teachers. I know that Dr. Warner, Beth Warner, in the Human Services program, which is actually what I teach through now, is trying to advocate to expand the program. Elon offers American Sign Language 1 and American Sign Language 2. What I personally would love to see is to teach more about the community and culture and also teach a class on deafness and mental health. I just think it could potentially be an amazing thing. I think that we could potentially expand the program so that students are exposed to deafness. But I would really like to see us outreach the deaf community across the country so that maybe down the road we could have signing deaf students at Elon. I mean, I have never seen, and I've asked my students, have you ever seen a signing person here? Now I will tell you that I have had 3 students in the last 2 years that have come up to me almost each time in tears, and I'll say, is something wrong? And they'll say, I have gotten through 4 years here and didn't tell anybody, but I have a profound loss or a severe loss, and sometimes I wear a hearing aid and sometimes I don't, but I never told anybody. So what I say to my students at Elon, I said, you go out there and you be proud. Turn up that hearing aid, tell them your life experience, go and do it. So I think that there's just enormous opportunity for great good.
I am in full support of changing ASL to a language requirement because it is a language. We spent every class almost learning vocab word upon vocab word, and you have to learn the sentence structure, and it's nothing comparable to English, which is what a lot of people, which I thought that it was. And so it's learning a legitimate language, and so I think it absolutely should be a language. We hear a lot about, the Spanish-Hispanic culture, the French culture, Asian, all these other cultures and these languages that we learn in schools, but we rarely hear about deaf culture, which is interesting because so many people are part of it, and we just never hear about it, so there's a huge disconnect there.
If the only people they're able to communicate with are deaf people, then we're basically pushing them into little clusters of people and saying, okay, you stay there, you interact with each other, and if you want to talk to us, you have to write it out in our language. But there's no reason that we shouldn't be encouraged to learn their language, because we can learn their language, but they can't learn our language.
I can't even imagine how they feel that most people don't know their language, because they live in a society where everything is spoken. And to not be able to understand that and not be able to comprehend or even hear what people are saying, I can't even fathom what that would be like. Especially, big presidential debates or big events happening in the community, or, tragic events or whatever is happening, and not being able to know about them, you would feel so disconnected, I would think.